You are listening to Confessions of a Counselor podcast. Here we will talk all things mental health in bite-sized chunks. Hello and welcome back to Confessions of a Counselor, the podcast that brings you insights into mental health in bite-sized chunks. I'm your host, Janice, and in today's episode, we're diving into one of my favorite foundational principles, that you are good inside, and that is it, period. In today's world, we're constantly being fed messages that we're not enough, that we have to work harder, that our productivity is tied to our worth. We're being given messages that we need to do better, should be better, should change this about ourselves. And it's all about lack and improvement, which can feel really discouraging when we're trying to live in a world where we're allowed to be human, where we're allowed to make mistakes, and where we're allowed to show up with flaws. We're told either implicitly or explicitly that our worth is tied to our achievements, our appearance, our productivity, and that we're often being compared to others, or we're comparing ourselves to our peers or others. And this creates this relentless cycle of not feeling enough, not feeling like I'm good enough, not feeling like I'm doing enough. And it can be really hard to show up authentically in a world where I feel like I'm not doing enough. This principle is something that I talk about often in terms of knowing that my worth is not tied to something that I'm producing. It cuts through that noise. I am good enough just as I am. I am worthy just because I exist. It asserts that our worthiness is inherent rather than conditional. So it's not something that I earn or achieve or prove. It's something that just simply is. By existing, I have worth. By existing, I am good inside. I am a good person. And this value isn't based on anything external. It's all internal processing. The immense pressure to be perfect at everything, perfect parents, perfect at our jobs, perfect daughters or perfect siblings, perfect friends. These are such high expectations that we put on ourselves. We're constantly feeling like we have to be that happy, bubbly person, or we have to constantly be engaging in the perfect way, showing up in social media as the perfect person. And it starts to chip away at our ability to feel good enough if I'm not achieving or if I'm not doing. It means that I don't get to grow. It means that I don't get to learn because I'm already supposed to know it all. And this takes away from the experience of being human in that we make mistakes or that I don't always know. And it takes away from the idea that I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly growing, I'm constantly changing, which leads to a happier, healthier mindset that allows me to know that I don't have to have it all together in order to be a good person. I can just be and exist and make mistakes and repair those mistakes. I can not show up fully presented and still be worthy of myself and the love of others around me. So this principle is about recognizing your worth and not defining it by my mistakes or my failures or even my successes. My worth isn't attached to something that I'm producing. It's not about being perfect. It's about trying to be the best version of myself. It's about trying to show up in the best way that I can. And my best way that I can sometimes means not very good at all. And so it's about understanding my strengths. It's about understanding my vulnerabilities, my imperfections, and seeing myself as a whole being, a whole human who isn't a robot, who isn't perfect all the time. And that's okay. That's a part of the experience. So when I truly believe that I'm good enough, then I can start to show up and believe that even if I have made a mistake, or even if I'm not showing up to the best of my ability, that I still know that I'm good inside and that I can make that better. I can repair. I can change what I'm doing. I can learn something new. And all of that is okay. It doesn't make me a bad person because I'm not showing up perfectly. So this leads to, what can I do? How can I start to internalize this message of being good enough? Because I know that it is often a struggle. It's a hard one to wrap our brain around because we're so bombarded with the messages of, you need to improve, you need to do better, your worth is tied to your productivity. So, can I start to challenge some of my self-critical thoughts? When I want to say you're not doing good enough, or you're a bad parent, or you are not being the best employee, can I start to challenge some of these critical thoughts with a little bit of gentleness, with a little bit of, and that's okay, right? I'm not the best parent, and that's okay. I'm not the best employee, and that's okay. I made this mistake, and that's okay. These are ways in which we can start to challenge those self critical thoughts. So, can I start to practice self compassion? So, not only am I starting to challenge the critical thoughts, but can I have compassion for myself? Can I treat myself with kindness? If one of my loved ones, someone that I care about a lot, showed up and made that same mistake, or showed up and wasn't the best version of myself, what would I say to them? How would I treat them? Would I tell them that they're not worthy anymore? Would I tell them that I don't love them anymore? Would I tell them that they're a terrible person because they made a mistake? Probably not. I would most likely say, it's okay. I still love you. What can I do to help? Can we do that for ourselves as well? It's okay. You made a mistake. What can I do to help? And then we're going to focus on our inherent qualities, remind ourselves of the things that we like about ourselves, remind ourselves of what made us who we are, how we want to show up, and try to remind ourselves of the things that we really appreciate about ourselves. Pieces of homework that I really like to give clients that I often get pushback around is trying to write a list of 100 things that they like about themselves. And this can be a really great tool for reminding ourselves of of the inherent things that we like about ourselves. So if you want to give that a try, that's a fun challenge. So remember that you are inherently worthy. You are good inside. You are enough just as you are. That's all for today for Confessions of a Counselor. Remember that your worth is non-negotiable. You cannot prove it. You do not need to achieve something in order to have worth. You are good inside. You are good enough just as you are. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Confessions of a Counselor podcast is available anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts on Apple and Android. New episodes are released every Friday. If you enjoyed today's episode, please join the conversation. Leave a review or subscribe to the podcast hosted on Spotify. You can find all these details on janicelyons.com. Until next time, take care.